Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Full story. My daughters did one of the online DNA tests to find out more about their family history, and the results were devastating. I'm a 56-year-old male in a 38-year marriage with 4 grown children and 7 grandchildren. My 2 oldest daughters did one of the online DNA tests to find out more about their family history. When my oldest daughter's results came back, it showed that she was a half-sister to my other daughter. When she confronted my wife about this, she admitted that she was with someone else 3 months before our wedding. I knew my wife was pregnant at our wedding, but never in my wildest dreams would I ever think the baby wasn't mine. My wife worked at a local restaurant, and I worked days, and I would pick her up in the early evenings. Typically, when I arrived to pick her up, I would call her from a payphone and let her know I was there. One evening, I arrived and made the call that she said not to pick her up because she would work late. I was bummed because I had made plans to take her out. This was before cell phones, so I was already close by when I made the call. When I got back to my car, I saw her walking out the door with a girlfriend getting into a car. I couldn't believe my eyes. I followed them for a few blocks, and my rage took over, and at a stoplight, I got out of my car and walked up to the passenger side and told her, "You just lost yourself a freaking fiance." I went home and later felt like I made a mistake without getting her side of the story. I waited until 2 in the morning, but she never showed. The next day, we met up, and I asked her what she was doing. She explained she just wanted to go out with her girlfriend and meet up with a couple of her guy friends, but the guys never showed up, so they just hung out together. We both apologized, and I took her word for what happened and never thought about it again. Now, this is my wife's new story. She said she did not lie about working late, and that she and her friend were going to grab something to eat and go back to work, and that she never told me she was going to meet guys. She said her friend was meeting the manager from the restaurant, a married man that her friend was having an affair with. When they arrived, the manager's son was with him, who she had met briefly before the restaurant. My wife said they had started drinking alcohol on the way to the restaurant and continued through the evening. Her girlfriend and the manager left, and she was told the manager's son would drop her at home. She said she ended up at the man's house, and I didn't get many details, but she was taken advantage of because of the alcohol on board. She seemed to have an answer for everything to lessen her responsibility. My daughter was troubled, but I have a great relationship with her, and we will get through this, and I'm confident that our relationship will not change. I can only go by what my wife tells me. It was almost 40 years ago. I have to keep it in perspective. We were both only 18 at the time. Although we were engaged, we were only 10 months into our relationship. I have my ideas of what happened. I'm not stupid. But does it matter? I think I should forgive her even if the worst happened, a one-night stand or even a short relationship. We have had a wonderful marriage and a great life. What do you think? What does the community think? Ding Dong It's Long thinks, "She knew that it wasn't your kid, or at least a possibility. She knows what the guy looks like. I'm sure she's seen him in your daughter's face. She won because she will suffer no consequences for her actions. She was able to keep the secret long enough so you can't divorce her. She will apologize and cry, and you will forgive her because of the rest of your marriage. I would at least insist on a DNA test for the rest of your kids, if not for at least reassurance, but also for her to be a little humiliated because of her actions. This is what happens when you rug sweep situations. She cheated and you didn't question her further on why she lied to you. It always comes back to haunt you down the road." Kid Halloween 85 thinks, "Your wife comes last now. New order. You, your children, your grandchildren, pets if you have any, hell, even the New York Knicks or whatever, but your wife is now last. One night stand over close to 40 years ago is something that can be forgiven, but the lying for 40 years is something else entirely. That's a long time to lie to the people you love." Next up, Springfield XD45. "First things first, I'm sorry you were betrayed in such a horrible way. Your wife is playing mind games with you right now. One of those games is called Trickle Truth. Another game is minimization. A third is deflection, blame shifting. You have to understand something. Cheaters are liars. It is pure BS that she didn't know that kid wasn't yours. At the very least, she had to have questions. Also, drinking takes away the restraints on what you want to do. She can't blame it on the beer. She also went to this thing willingly. Another bald-faced lie. She's giving you a load of crap, hoping her chaff and flares will deflect you. Think about this. She knew every single day since the incident that she betrayed you. Every single day. She lied to you every day for the last 38 years. You can brush this under the carpet if you want to, but know there are big consequences for doing so. If she has any respect for you left, that will disappear into thin air if you rug sweep this. She betrayed you. She betrayed your oldest daughter. She betrayed your family. Proceed accordingly. 108 Noodles says, I am sorry for your pain. Wow, that's a tough one. I was listening to a counselor talking about lying and infidelity. First of all, a discovery like this is traumatizing. Adding to it is that she did not tell you right away, but sat on it with dire consequences, lack of trust. You got a double whammy. I am troubled that she got taken advantage of, aka raped, and she never told you. If this was truly an isolated incident, I feel bad for you both and hope you heal. Sexting wofe. Maybe that's wife? I'm 46 years old and have been married for almost 10 years. My wife and I have 2 children. We both have good jobs and make a decent living. Last October, I noticed a guy commenting on a lot of my wife's Facebook posts. I asked about him, and she said he was a high school acquaintance. Then, in February, I saw a message he had sent her that mentioned cuddling with a laughing emoji. I confronted my wife and asked why he would say that, and she said he was probably joking. I asked her to cease communication, and I believe she did. I inquired if there was any type of relationship, and she said no, just friends. I didn't believe it at the time. Fast forward to last week. I saw several nude photos that my wife sent, graphic photos and some screenshot Facebook messages asking her to screw. She asked if he ever screwed a girl with a toy, etc. You get the point. I confronted my wife and she acknowledged the sexting relationship, but denied any sexual encounter. Keep in mind that the same day they were exchanging pics, he said it was going to be hard to behave on Monday. She said she met him for lunch, and that was it. I don't believe her. Then I told her I was going to download all her message history about a few days after this confrontation, and she cried and said 2 weeks ago she was talking to another male friend on Facebook about porn. I am shocked at this point. I am entering counseling for myself. My wife's lied and lied again. Any suggestions? My gut tells me she screwed this guy but won't own it. I'm torn. Part of me wants to leave, but I'm worried about my kids as it impacts on them. First reaction, from RevLim1. Download all the message history and find out. They always lie unless you have proof. Crannock says, what do you know by now? You know that she lied to you repeatedly in favor of the other man, making decisions against your marriage and for her affairs. You know that they sexted, exchanged nudes, and met. Your wife is in a full-blown affair and just doesn't know yet if the other guy is worth it to leave you for him. So she lies to you, hoping that you believe her again, so that she got more time to have fun with the guy and find out if he is relationship material. But the thing is, after she lied to you for such a long time and betrayed you already for so long, what do you think is more likely? That she lies or that she speaks the truth? Her actions speak a completely different language from her words. If you delete everything she said and only look at what she did and which decisions she made, then you get a clear picture. I'm sorry that you are in this position. You are worth so much more than to be treated this way. Your wife has lost all her respect for you and doesn't care if you trust her. Even if she hadn't had sex with the guy yet, which no one believes, your marriage is already over. She left you. She had her chance when you asked her to stop contacting him. The moment when she continued her affair was the moment when she ended your marriage. Please go to a doctor to get tested for STDs. Better safe than sorry. One more thought from OK Replacement 7697. If you decide to fix things, you will be left with the feeling of thinking what you are doing for your whole life or if you would do it again. Your trust will never return and your relationship will never be the same again. I really don't think you should try. Is she doing actions that showed that she regrets? Has she said that she regrets it? Moving on. I gave my rings back to my husband and told him he can give them to his affair partner. Last week, I, 30 female, gave my wedding rings back to my husband, 32 male, and told him he could give them to his emotional affair partner. For 2 years, I drove myself crazy trying to figure out why he would randomly get all cold and distant and moody about anything and everything. He never explained his behavior, and coupled with his escalating alcohol intake, it was becoming too difficult to bear. Well, these last few months were getting better. He has been nothing but kind and sweet and the most perfect example of an amazing husband. I thought we were behind all the craziness. Well, I was extremely fooled. I recently started a new job and after my second day, I just wanted to look at the pictures he took of the kids. He's the primary caregiver when I'm at work. I posted about this in r/relationships. While doing that, I noticed messages coming in that were of inappropriate nature. For example, the contact was telling him that she's wet, asking if he's attracted to her boobs and hair. You get the point. There was a similar conversation like this with a different person, and both phone numbers were not saved. After running background checks on the phone numbers, which is surprisingly easy to do, I learned that both women are from his work. I met one of them in the past and worked with her too. I am enraged that she would do this to me after we worked together for 2 years. Anyways, I was so mad about these conversations that I could not sleep and felt the need to investigate further. What I found next sent me into a panic attack. In fact, as I typed this up, I feel myself starting to get angrier with each second. I found a secret folder and was able to guess his passcode. I found over 80 files of porn in there. Now, I could get over that, but what disturbed me was that he cropped the heads of some of the ladies in my life on the body of impossible proportions. I was so crushed, and now I feel absolutely worthless myself. I cannot help but compare how much I am not like these women. You see, I had 2 kids in 18 months. He knows my insecurities and how fat and ugly I felt, and it seems like he slapped me with those insecurities in the face. I confronted him the same night I found all this, and he panicked, and over the last week, he has been crying and showing remorse. I asked for every single detail and explanation for everything. I wish knowing everything helped me feel better, but at this point it crushes me. I feel so broken because he told me the emotional affairs have been going on for 2 years. 2 full years! I was carrying his kids, laying down my life to give them life, dealing with my own hormones and poor well-being associated with having babies, while also dealing with his BS that was stemming from his overwhelming guilt. At this point, we had many conversations about everything. To my amazement, I did not fight with him, but I was able to make it very clear to him that he is looking at a very single life. He wants to work on things, but I think I did my work. I made it clear to him that until the new year, we are roommates, and if he wants to show that he is still committed to me and win me back, he is welcome to do that, but I am not doing anything. I have done enough and I am fed up. I told him that the ball is in his court and that I need demonstration, that I am not just an available body to shack up with when porn isn't enough, or because someone else isn't available. He really began freaking out when I started shutting the door to change clothes. So far, he began to make steps. He made an appointment at our church to confess to his actions, and I already see that as progress because I know that is incredibly hard for him. As for the affair partner, I did confront her, and every time I think of her, I get so consumed with anger. I wish I could explain with words just how much I want to have revenge on her. I would love to make it known in the company we worked at, she's still there, what kind of person she is. But I also feel like she isn't worth my time. People of the internet, please talk me down from doing this. I know a lot of people there who I'm sure would help. I am also a mix of emotions. One minute, I think we can work through this, and the next minute, I am so angry that I can barely think straight. I wake up every morning with the strong urge to cry. This is not me. I do not cry easily, but this situation broke me. I can't take joy in the little things like my favorite music anymore. Right now, we agreed to be civil and act like everything is normal for the kids' sake and only discuss our issues when they are sleeping. Would I be crazy for trying to work through this? If you read up to this point, thank you so much. Let's get the advice from the community. I'm wasting my time says, first, he needs to go no contact with affair partners. You need to see up to 3 attorneys and get finances in order, and do not tell him. Protect yourself and children. He needs to open all devices. Full transparency of phones, computers, passwords, locations, etc. Therapy outside of church. AA, and no porn. Next thought is a quick one from Revolutionary C15. What happened when you confronted the affair partner? Did she even acknowledge it? The OP responds, I texted her and said this is OP, Bob's wife, fake name. Please call me when you can. 4 to 5 hours went by and no call. I text again and say, it is almost the end of the day and I still have not heard from you. My marriage is on the rocks and I want to know what you have to say about it. She finally responds, unable to call you, but wanted to inform you there is nothing going on between us. We are, or were, friends at one point. Now just the occasional text. But if this is an issue, I will no longer be in contact with him. My apologies if this has caused you any trouble. She didn't respond any further to my questions, but I was further enraged at her apologies. Next thought comes from Big Booty Beauty. Shoot, take 6 months. If you feel like it's worth going back to in 6 months, sure. But if not, keep moving on. Sorry about the kids. Rage Sadness All in One says, Chances are the affair was not only emotional. I would be prepared for that based on the level of texts they were exchanging. I would reach out to the affair partner's partner ASAP and let them know. Do what you can to find out who they are on social media and provide them with the evidence. Send the text messages to the affair partner and state, "Your words mean nothing, it's your actions that speak volumes," just so she knows that you know. Then block her and never acknowledge her again. She's not worth your energy. But she should not get away with her paltry apologies and lies. As for your partner, you are doing everything right. So amazed at your knee-jerk reactions. Not many people make this kind of headway immediately. Most play the pick-me or try to negotiate. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but you sound like you are handling it like a total boss. I know that isn't any comfort right now, but if you decide you want to reconcile, you are definitely handling it the right way. Again, I'm so sorry for your pain. Our last comment comes from Suck on My Sycamore. You should not take him back. No amount of work is going to change this a-hole. He has been crying and showing remorse. That's not remorse. He's just sad he got caught and can't have the best of both worlds. Please, OP, be better to yourself and leave this loser.